I know look, everybody knows listening to you. I talk about the same things in my book. And that's why I call it the Holy Grail. Because what I found was I got better returns. It was passive and I got better tax advantages
benefits.
As well.
Totally,
and it was scalable. And it's been amazing. We've expanded into some other asset classes now, but multifamily still remains at the core of what we do.
I love it, man. Next door neighbor, the lawn care guy is around. But anyway, you brought Blacksburg, brother. I sold Bible books and encyclopedias and children books in Blacksburg.
Amazing.
And Pulaski, Virginia.
I know Pulaski. Oh yeah, that's right down the road going towards West Virginia. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
You brought back my 40 years back, 1977. I sold books over there, brother. 77. I'm putting my age on the line. I'll be 70 this year, 70 in August.
That's incredible. You do not look 70, and your energy belies that as well. But yeah, so 77. You beat me to my arrival on the planet by a year doing that. So I was born in 78.
78. Oh my God. I was in 78. I sold in Aiken, South Carolina. That was my third year of selling. And it's been just who I am today. Yeah. I got transferred from an engineer to a salesperson. That's what happened in my life. And I've been a salesperson and marketing consultant, promotional consultant, money raiser all my life. Anyway, but tell us more about infinite banking. What is it?
Yeah. So, look, there's a large concept, and then same thing. I made some mistakes early on, and not really mistakes where I was losing money, but not optimizing the tool. And actually just wrote a book here with my partners. It's called Money Insights for Sales Professionals. And if you want a copy of this, email me, because it's not officially launched yet, but just email me and put Money Insights book in the headline. Money Insights book.
Please email me that too, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. We'll get you a copy.
Thank you.
I went, and again, being contrarian, I looked back, and this is when right before my first son was born. So he was born in 2010. So 2009, we started looking at options. The first thing as a father, as somebody that's in finance, that I thought, when my wife told me she was pregnant, my first question to her was, can we still go to Europe? Because we had a trip to Europe planned. She laughed. We talked to the doctor because my son was 4 months old at the time, which was an amazing experience. The second thing that popped into my head was, okay, how do I prepare financially for this? So I started doing some research, and you hear things like, hey, invest in put money in your 401k, put money into a 529 plan. So I looked into these concepts. I wasn't in love with them because, frankly, going back 12 years, I didn't know what college was going to look like. And again, today it's college. If you're an engineer like we are, Vinney, and you go out, it probably makes a lot of sense. My younger son wants to be an engineer. But if you're like my older son, I said, what do you want to study in college, Ethan? He said, I want to play lacrosse. I'm like, well, that's not really what I was asking you. So you have to look at your children's individual circumstances, and you also have to look at what college is going to be in the future. And there wasn't a lot of certainty there in my mind. So instead of starting a 529 plan, my wife and I started high cash value life insurance plans, overfunded whole life insurance policies. Now, I had a life insurance license coming out of school. That was my first sales job.
Brother,
Vinney.
I have a license too. I'm a broker, syndicator. I'm a real estate broker, commercial investor, syndicator, author, blah, blah. I just became a life agent also. I just wanted to get back.
I'm like Vinney Jr. My tan isn't as good as yours, Vinney, but I'm like Vinney Jr. So a little bit younger than yours.
Bless your heart, brother. Yeah. Bless your heart. I'm so curious guy, I just wanted to know what's all this about,
So you know all this. And again, it's a lot of these concepts are known in the circles we run in, but I started these policies, and we were just putting, we were consistently each month putting money in. When I get a bonus check, I'd add some additional capital in there. We use them to buy cars and different things like, you hear like Bank on Yourself or Infinite Banking, the concept by Nelson Nash. When we started building spec homes in 2012, 2013, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I started using the cash value, buying property, and then we build the spec home because we own the property. The bank would lend against it. And then when we sold the property, I would pay the loan back in our life insurance policy, and then we'd take the profits and we would invest in a multifamily deal. So it was a great way to generate some additional capital to fund our passive investments. I told my insurance agent during our annual review about it. And you know what he said? He said, "Wow, Chris, I love that strategy. I wish all my clients were doing it." And I said, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And it frustrated me. So when he said that, I went and I started consuming everything I could on the topic, people that were using these strategies for different things. And I was introduced to my current partners, Rod and Christian at Money Insights. And
Hi, you are listening to Syndication Made Easy podcast. We will be right back after this short break.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Vinney Chopra, and thank you for subscribing to my podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook pages and all the great things, and LinkedIn. Connect with me. I come live to you every Friday at 9:30 Pacific with Vinney and Bo show. Please also look at that. And also the podcast, which is my Apartment Syndication Made Easy. The book I wrote a couple of years back became international top seller on Amazon International now. And then we like to bring great guests for you every week or twice a week sometime to give you a lot of great knowledge. So please subscribe. You give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes. The better the guests we can bring, and our ranking will go higher also. Thanks again for following us and really getting the most out of it. Please comment, like, share, because we would love to bring better and better material for you.
And they came up with this concept called the investment optimizer. And the investment optimizer is, again, it's on my website on the banking link, and you can see a white paper there. You can see
under your name. So is your website like Chris Larsen or no?
Nextlevelincome.com. Yeah. So that's everything's housed there. And just like you, Vinney, we give everything away on the website for free. So
that's the way to do it, brother.
Yeah,
I know.
The blog's free, the podcast is free, and the books are free. So
I want to say something right now, brother Chris. I met with AJ and Rory Vaden. I want to say that publicly. Okay. Met with them in Sarasota and Ritz-Carlton there just last month. And we met them after 15 years. We have known each other. And they have the personalbranding.com, I think, business. And what really echoed in my mind was Rory said, "Vinney, give everything for free. Wow. Give your best content first." What? He says, you give your best content first to everybody in the Cosmo, get them hooked in, then give the next best, then next best, then next best, and give them everything out, and they'll come back to you. Because to get them all organized,
And that's the abundance mindset. And it's hard to believe if you don't think that way. But Richard Wilson, he was the second guest on my podcast, said the same thing. He said, "I give away 80% of what we do." And if we create like you do, Vinney, if you create this opportunity for financial abundance for people, it comes back. So this concept is very simple. It's using a specific life contract, a whole life insurance or permanent life insurance contract that you then stack and structure properly so you can put additional capital into it. And the neat thing about life insurance is that it was actually so good from a tax perspective in the 80s that Congress and the IRS, they changed the tax laws behind it because people were using it to shelter money. Now it's not as good as it was in the 80s, but it's still really, really good. I mean, it was like almost a illegitimate tax shelter back then. Whereas today, if you structure it, you can still get tons of benefits. You get, creditor protection, money that you put in there won't show up on your credit report. You have access to it. I love to tell the story when COVID hit in 2020 and we didn't know if we were going to get rent checks, and I was still managing a medical device distributorship that they weren't doing surgeries. So I looked at my wife. We were building a house, Vinney. I said to my wife, "I don't know if we're going to make any money this quarter." And all I had to do was call up my insurance company, and you don't even call them anymore. You just go on the website and put it in. And I had $200,000 in my bank account by the end of the week. And I told my wife, I said, no matter what happens, we're going to be fine because we have all the money we need to pay our expenses, continue building our house for the year. And it's very comforting. You know, didn't have to take a loan out, anything like that from a bank.
I love it. I love it.
Fantastic.
You know, could you I know our audience is young and to middle, you know, so how much are we talking about? Like, are there these AAA companies that you underwrite with? You want to talk a little bit about it? Yeah.
Yes, that's a great question. So, you know, we work with multiple different companies, and we want to work with, very highly rated insurance companies. So you can go and you can look at life insurance ratings online. So you have like AAA, you have AA plus. So there's two different companies, and you can look at their ratings on there. So you want highly rated companies, but you also want companies that are going to be mutual insurance companies and insurance companies that are going to pay a high dividend. Now, this might, if you're new to this concept and you're listening today, some people might be interested to learn that insurance companies actually pay a dividend. And what they do is they pay, like our policies pay an average of over 5% annually on the cash value. So for instance, if you had $100,000 of cash value in your policy, they would pay you 5% on top of that, because it's very simple. An insurance company is a business. So they look at you, they look at me, Vinney, they look at everybody that they insure, and they say, okay, what are our expenses? They use the law of large numbers. They have actuaries that are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to look at, you know, numbers and statistics and say, okay, how many people are going to die on average? And they set aside that money, and then they take that money and they invest it in very high quality assets. Sometimes stuff like we buy, like these apartments, right? And bonds and, you know, different, financial instruments, and they have to earn a return because they have to have a profit. And because they have to be profitable to cover all their expenses, what they do is they return some of that profit at the end of the year back to the policyholders in form of a dividend. So,
I love it, brother. I mean, you just brought back my courses. Because I just became life agent last year, right? And
congratulations.
Thank you. I couldn't believe it. And I passed it in one try. It took me 3-4 months or whatever. I went, I get up early, right? 4:35. So I said, why not? I put my mind to it. And then I started going through all these different, so you're bringing back the memories. No, that's fantastic. Tell me more. How can somebody really take care of their finances? What comes to your mind? I mean, where should they start first?
Yeah. So look, again, we talk about make, keep, grow at Next Level Income. So the first thing I think people should do is go out and figure out how to become accredited, make as much money as possible. And what I mean is, find a profession, start a business, something where you can make $200,000 or more a year. And the reason I say that, a lot of people are like, well, I don't, there are so many opportunities to do this. And